Yeah, vMix betas. You gotta love them. We're gonna look at vMix 28 beta on today's show. Hang around. I will be back. Well, hang on a second. I won't be back. I mean, I will be back, but I gotta change something first. So don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Just hang out, and gotta get this little card thing. What do you call it? Kind of like a thumbnail. Yeah. All right, here we go. We'll see you in a few minutes. Check 1, 2. Check, 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 check. Sound check. Sound check. Is there an echo in here? Echo, 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 echo. Sound check. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. We got video. Let's see. YouTube says the stream's current bit rate is lower than the recommended bit rate. That's because I'm sending you AV1. What is my bit rate? My bit rate is 8 megabits per second. And it says I'm sending 1.7. Yeah, that must be old news. It says we recommend that you use a stream bit rate of 6,800. Well, ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen. Because we're already streaming. So there we go. So we may have a guest in the studio today. Ron Wallace may pop in. So we may have to do something out of the ordinary. Don't know what it would be. But yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be good. So vMix 28. vMix 28. Holy cow. I mean, don't you remember the good old days of vMix 3? I sure don't. But it'd be fun to get Martin or Tim to come on the show and talk about vMix 3. The oldest thing I can find on the vMix website, I think, is like vMix maybe 14, something like that. We'll have to see. So teleportation, Tommy. Yeah, teleportation. It is here. It is here. What can I say? You know, all the goodies are in vMix this time. Ken, teleportation hasn't quite reached that as far as you yet. But this stuff is cool. This stuff is cool. I have played with it just long enough to find a couple of bugs and break it. But it was probably just operator error more than anything else. So there we go. There we go. How can Telstrator help? You know, I think there's the common way to think of it, and then there are going to be all these other creative ways that people like Bill Connor are going to come up with. We will see. We will see. Can it be executed on AnyPad? What is AnyPad? Can AnyPad connect to your local area network? If it can, it may be able to run Telstrator. Can I have commentators scroll back and forth on the replay while they draw? Yes. I mean, we'll get into it in more detail, but the Telstrator interface, which is just a Chrome or a Safari browser window, has 10 vMix shortcuts, so you can use them however you want. I've thrown a couple in. We'll see if they work, and if not, maybe we can troubleshoot them a little bit online. Yeah, Ken says that replays can be scrubbed using X keys, but if you've got somebody that's in a totally different area and you can't get an X keys to them, the shortcuts in Telstrator may get you what you need. Did I say telepad just a little while ago? Gee whiz. There we go. There's Ron. He's on the way. He's on the way. Yeah, baby. And here's the thing. This is just the beta. How much better can it get? Bill is calling from the Mississippi Gulf Coast, looking forward to replacing the original NDI Telestrator. Really? Wow. Be interested to see once you have both in hand. Well, you can download this one right now, Bill. There's nothing to stop. I mean, after the show. There's nothing to stop you. Hey, Jesper, welcome. Glad you're here. Jesper. What else do we have going on? So yeah, Ron, and in fact, Ron is gonna pop in any minute. So we may have to just stop the show, chat with Ron briefly, and then send him out the door. We will see. vMix, was it 16 in 2016? So if it's 2016 and vMix 16. This is 2024. That's 8 years. And we went from vMix 16 to vMix 28. That's 12 versions in 8 years. Cool. Cool. Hang on a second. Goodness gracious. Sorry about that. Are you hearing an echo? Not that I'm hearing one, but I'm worried that you might be hearing one because I have this second mic out. One here, and yeah. Jesper says, is the sound low or is it my end? I think the sound is low. Yeah, that's on me. No echo. Thank you, Gregory. Boy, I'm just going to say GI for short. Sorry about that. Let's see if we can turn this guy up. Oh, well, we can turn him up a little bit right there. I was playing with that earlier. So there you go. More Sweden in the stream. Haha. All right, let's catch up here. For all of you that are not in the chat, the sound was low. I hope it's better now. Hope it's better now. Yep. No echo. Good. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. Because this guy is on and he's not far away. Maybe they're just coming in, you know. Maybe it's a distance thing. Let's do it's a distance. Oh, Tommy. They haven't come and gotten you yet, you know, the guys in the white suits. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, we're good. We're good. Yeah, there's a new feature. It's a teeny weeny little feature. You know how you can take your scrolling mouse and you can hover over one of your audio input, the volume slider, and you can use the scroll mouse, the little wheel there, to turn it up and down. But some people apparently have been having unintended consequences. So you can turn that off. That's a new feature. New feature. So yeah. And there are lots of new features. This is what I call a smorgasbord update, where there's just a lot of stuff, you know, and it's based on feature requests. It's based on things that people have needed. And it's not a huge thing, but it's a tremendous example. And I'll say this again later. This is a tremendous example of how responsive vMix is to their users. And I'll tell you right now. And I may tell you again later. But if you're not responsive to your users, if you as a corporation or a company or an individual that does business, if you say to yourself, I will no longer pay attention to what people think. They're stuck with me. They got to have me. They can't go anywhere else. And you'll end up like Wirecast, where I have people calling me very, very unhappy. I was going to say on the verge of tears, but probably not that really. But very, very unhappy that Wirecast has just turned a cold shoulder to them and has stopped listening. And it's Telestream, that's the company. And you know, Telestream's been sold a time or two, and they lost their heart. Wirecast lost its heart somewhere. Yeah, Michael says worst example is Sonos and the horrible app update. Yeah, you know, what do these people think? Do they not test this stuff before they send it out there? Or do they just not care what happens? And in Wirecast's case, you know, they throw out an update, but they're not responsive to their clientele if the clients are having a problem. Yep. And vMix has just been a wonderful example for the rest of the world of how to take care of customers, how to build a customer base, how to build a community of users and be attentive to them. And the vMix 27, vMix version 28 that is coming out very soon, Christmas maybe, first of the year, something like that would be my guess. We're going to find that there's just going to be well, you can look at it today. It's the beta's out there for everybody to see. Of course, we're using the beta for production. Never ever use the beta for production, says vMix. But they have a history of throwing out betas that are really, really good. They may have some bugs in them, and that's why you put out a beta, because you can't test every possible scenario and combination of hardware, software, etc. Especially if you've got something new like the Telstrator. How is somebody's 12-year-old Safari browser going to work with it? Even though you've said you need to use the latest, greatest, there's somebody out there that won't. This is version 28.0.0.20, which was just released, I think, yesterday. Let me see what the notes are here. 14 hours ago. They started out with 28.0.0.19. And if you look back to version 27, they didn't release a beta until they got to like version 60. Well, let's go back and look. Hang on a second. We're just going to go back and look here real quick. General discussion, vMix changelog. And yeah, the initial release was .61, and this one is .20. Now, .61, that had Zoom, so they can be given a little bit of grace based on that. So yeah, we will see. Let's get back to where we were. There, right, there we go. Good. Disclaimer, this is a preview release for those who like to live on the edge. You and me. There will be some bugs, so it should not be used in productions. That's in not all caps, but it's bolded and in a larger font. Yeah. Okay. I don't think the Zoom plugin has changed. I went ahead and downloaded it because it's right there with the vMix 28 preview plugin. Preview download link. And so I went ahead and did it again just in case. So it didn't feel like it was worth, not doing it. Yeah. And, interesting. I remember 10 years ago, I used Wirecast briefly as just an encoder. I sent the output to Wirecast and let Wirecast stream it. And that's when I was using VidBlaster, back in the days. And then vMix came out, and their encoder was much, much better than Wirecast. In fact, so much so that it got some press about that. So yeah. Selling their Sonos systems. Yikes. Sorry about that. It's tough when you invest, money certainly, but time and energy and some of your essence in something to get it to work, and then it screws up, or it does something that leaves you high and dry. Howdy y'all. Howdy y'all from Texas. Otis, glad you're here. All right, let's get ready for a show, shall we? Let me get to the right button. Actually, I don't have a button today, but I will soon. Here we go. Yes, it's beta day. Beta day is kind of like Christmas, except you never know when it's going to come. It might be a month, it might be a week, it might be a day, or it might just sneak up on you and then kapowie, here's a beta. I wasn't expecting vMix 28 beta until, maybe Thanksgiving here in the US. That would be the last Thursday in November. But here it is. We've got a beta to play with, guys. vMix version 28.0.0.20. Actually, the first beta was 0.19. You heard my discussion in the pre-show a minute ago about, the vMix 27. The very first version released was 0.61, but that had Zoom in it, so it probably required a lot of tweaking. But this one has had minimal tweaking. Part of the reason is because this is what I call a smorgasbord update. There's a little bit of everything here. And so as a result, we have lots of new toys to play with. Now, they're not big, giant toys where you only get one toy, or maybe if you're really lucky, you get two. This is a case where we've got a lot of little small toys. So we've got lots of presents to open. So let's get on with it. The very first present is one that I've been waiting for the longest time. And I know some of you have too, because you've found other solutions. Bill was talking about in pre-show using the NDI Telstrator. And I think there was actually a separate Telstrator app that was available. Was it from NewTek? Anyway, here's one built into vMix, no extra charge, no parts required. So let's take a look at it, shall we? All right, first thing we're going to do is I'm going to share my screen. How do I do that? Do I remember how to do that? Yeah, I remember how to do that. Okay, there we go. So we're going to go off to infinity here. But that's okay. Pay no attention to the top right-hand corner window. So a couple things we have to do with the Telstrator. One is we need to add an input. So bottom left-hand, here, let me sharpen this first so that it's a little bit clearer. Sharpen. Oh, there's a new one called Flatten Layers. Oops, sorry, you didn't get to see that. Let me drag it over here. We're going to sharpen, and there's a new one called Flatten Layers. If we have time, we'll get into that. All right, so we've got a desktop capture. We've sharpened it. There we go. Now let's go add an input, and it's a Telstrator. I've already got a Telstrator added. So we're just going to say okay to add a Telstrator input, but we're not going to say okay. And here's my Telstrator input right here. And if we look at the settings for it, it doesn't look like anything in particular. It's just sort of there. But we have to have it. So that's number 86 down here. Now we're going to go up to settings, and we're going to kind of enable the Telstrator. And the Telstrator can be found not under Telstrator, because we're running out of room for categories here, but it's under web controller because it is part of this IP address. This is an address on my network, 192.168.1.114. That's my PC. And .8088 is the web controller. And the web controller allows us to do all sorts of things: control, shortcuts, tiles, tallies, API, live LAN, and newest is Telstrator. Woohoo! So if we check the Telstrator here, and then also check it here, and we want to say, what's the video source? Well, we got four choices. We got the output, which is the main output 1, which is the main output of vMix, and then 2, 3, and 4. I've got it set up for 2, and the video quality, I can choose. In this case, I took the default of H.264, 2 megabits per second. And we're going to use the hardware encoder because we've got lots of, I think we've got, 5 hardware encoders now? And we'll talk about that maybe in just a minute. Anyway, so we're going to say okay for this. And we didn't change anything, so it doesn't reset. But what we do see, if we go to that web address, we can see something like this. And let me go full screen with that for just a second. And this is the Telstrator interface. And this is where we get to do all the fun stuff. So we can, let's see, we've got colors here. We can change colors. We've got size here, so we can change the size, the thickness of our telestration. We can choose a squiggly line, user-defined line, a box. Well, let's do something. Let's change the color to blue, and we'll make it a 12, and we'll have a squiggle. So there we go. Why is it a double squiggle? Oh, I know why. Because I am using this input that shows me as the output. This fooled me earlier. So let me try this again here. Let's use, let's go in here. Let me show you how I fix it, because I'm not the only one that's going to end up with this mistake. All right, so I'm looking at main shot right here, and one of the layers is the Telstrator, but it's turned off. Okay, well, this is the one that I want to use then. Yeah, so I want the main shot number 1 to be output 2. So let's go back here. Whoops. And we'll change that to number 1, and that way we won't have a double line. And I am not the only one that has had that happen to them. So let's see. Let's go. Let's erase everything and see. Are we back to a single? Not yet. We may have to refresh this screen. Let's try that. And then we'll do that. Are we back there? Nope, still got a double. Sorry about this, guys. You know, but this is a beta. This is what happens when you use a beta. All right, so why am I still getting it? I'm getting it there because I'm using that. And oh yeah, let's take that off. There we go. All right, so I just had it on 2 inputs. That's why. All right, so there's a trash can here where we can erase everything, or we can undo and take them away one at a time. That's pretty cool. The coloration, let's go back here. Let's go back to a big fat one. And we can do whatever we want to. We can draw boxes. Whoops, draw boxes. We can draw circles. I don't think we can actually move anything. Once we got it there, we can't click it and move it. It just, sorry, let's go back to this shot. There we go. You can't move a circle once you've put it there. You just make a new circle. I haven't loaded the pictures folder, so I don't have any pictures to use, but I can use what's there. See, they've got that one. But every time you do it, you get a new one. And we can do numbers, which is kind of great, because if we want to number things in a shot, it just does it sequentially, however many you have. We're up to 6. And then we have a laser pointer. So I can hold down my mouse and I can point, say 2, 3, 4, 5, and it doesn't do a line. It just lets us know where my attention is. So let's clear all this off. There we go. So that's those buttons right there. There's undo, there's the erase all, which is the garbage can, and then there's the full screen. So there we go, we've got full screen, and now we can, we don't know what our tool is, so we got to go back and let's get that as a tool, and now we'll go back to full screen, and so now we can do whatever we want to. Don't want to do that. Not a good idea. We'll take that one off. Then we've got the latency button that allows us to, if we're having problems maybe on our local area network, we're using too much bandwidth with this picture right here, we can go to a lower latency, which I think is, oh no, lower latency would be better. Yeah, look at this. That's pretty close. Normal latency, well, that looks about the same, doesn't it? Video on, video off, drawing on, drawing off. And then down here are 10 little boxes. You notice they're different sizes based on the size of the word. And these are shortcuts. So I've done a few. The cut one is just simply a cut. So there we go. We're going to cut back and forth between our preview and our program. And then the others are some replay ones that I've thrown in there that I thought we might play with later. So I think this is going to be a lot of fun. Depending on how your sports cameras are set up, this might be, you know, if you've got something that's an end zone shot or an overhead shot, or, you know, a shot that somehow gives you enough of the field where you can, I'm thinking about American football right now, where you can, you know, you've got some room to draw. Yeah, and it's just simply it's simply a mouse. Now, I was using this earlier on my Microsoft Surface, which is touchscreen, and so I could do it all with just a finger. So if I had the Surface in another room but on the same network, I'm going to be able to see this picture on my Surface almost live, maybe 50 milliseconds, something like that, of latency, and then be able to draw on it just using a digit. And then I can do the controls too. So if the technical director has flipped it over to me as the commentator, and I've got some controls down here that I want to use to move a replay backwards and forwards, I've got the option to do that. I just have to have the shortcuts set up for me to be able to do that. That's going to be fun. And I think the shortcuts are just, you know, clickable. I don't think you can hold the button and have it do something until you stop holding the button. But we can test that. Yeah, I mean, if I hit the cut button, if I press the cut button down, it actually, it only cuts on the release of the mouse. Okay, so yeah, so you've got one shot at getting that one right. But this is the Telstrator, and I'm sure Bill uses it in automotive education, remote education, and so the ability to draw on the screen, circle things, you know, point with arrows, that type of thing, or even doing the number thing. How about that? Look at that. If I go to draw something else and then come back to numbers, it goes back to 0. Okay. So if I do a number and then click here, I've got 1, and then we're going to circle the 1 and then come back. It says 2 is the next number, but once I select it, it gives me another 1 again. Okay, let's erase all that. Okay, so this is pretty simple to use. It's a tad complicated to set up. I would say just a tad, maybe a tad and a half. Well, you're going to have to add a Telstrator input, and then you're going to have to enable the Telstrator in settings. Oh, and the Telstrator input, let me see if I can find the Telstrator input. Let's do something here. We'll put some numbers on the screen. There's a big 4. This is the Telstrator input. That's all it looks like right there. It's just whatever the screen shows. And you have to take whatever that is and add it as a layer in whatever your output is. So for me, my output, let's see, if we go here, what about here? Which one is it? Yeah. Well, it's neither of them. How about that? Oops, get rid of that. Telestrator's unchecked there. Be right back. Hold on. Telestrator's unchecked there. Huh. It's unchecked in both places. Well, let's put it on the camera. So we've got it there. There we go. Now we don't want to put it on the camera. If we put it on the camera, it appears everywhere. Let's put it on the main shot. We'll enable the Telstrator. There we go. Now the main shot just has the Telstrator. Yep. There we go. So that's cool. That's cool. I like that. I like that. That's going to be a lot of fun. And I think people will find a lot of uses for it that are not just sports. That are not sports. Yep. Let me clean off the screen there. There we go. One of the other things that I wanted to make sure we looked at, oh, and this is really simple, but I mean it's simple, but it's going to be important. Let me get my desktop capture here again. There we go. And this is going to be in streaming. And I'm just going to drag this up here so that it doesn't, you don't get distracted by going off to infinity. But now we have 5 different destinations. And, you know, part of the assumption is with this that number one, you have enough bandwidth to be able to live stream to 5 destinations. And number two, that you're using an NVIDIA capture card, excuse me, an NVIDIA graphics card, probably a 4000 series so that you can use the AV1 codec, at least with YouTube, but so that you can have multiple NVIDIA encoders. Yeah. So that's going to be cool. That's going to be great. And, you know, like any other new tool that has a lot of power, some people are going to overpower themselves. And that's okay. That's the way it happens. All right, so let's close that one, get it out of the way. I have got, let's see, where is it? Right here. Yeah, I've got a video that I've queued up as a desktop capture. And let me see. Yeah, right there. So you can see it. There it is. It's not something I can control. It's just a desktop capture. And I'm going to play it, but I've also added, and let me close it out and I'll show you how I did it. I added the audio from that desktop capture. And this can be done with lots of different things, but I just chose a desktop capture because it was easy. No, I don't want to choose a desktop capture. I want to go to the audio input, and I want to take the audio from an application. Boom, application audio. And I've got choices here that depend on what I'm using in my PC right now. I've got system settings, which is probably sort of a universal option. I've got Chrome. I've got Microsoft Text Input Application. I have no clue what that is. I got vMix Social, doesn't have any audio associated with it. I've got vMix 64 Input Select. That's actually this window. And then I've got Application Frame Host Settings. Not sure what that is. But we're going to go back and select Chrome vMix Live at NAB 2016. So that's going to be the audio that we're going to select that's available on our Windows PC. So there it is right there. I can bring it up here live and it doesn't show anything. There's nothing to see there, nothing to see there. So we'll go back to the desktop capture. And I'm not going to take this desktop capture live in output, but rather I'm just going to start it and we're going to be able to hear the audio from it.
Hi everyone and welcome to vMix, live from the NAB booth in Las Vegas. It is Wednesday, day 3 of the NAB live show floor. We're down here in South Lower Hall in the NAB booth, and I'm Martin Sinclair, the founder of vMix. And for those that don't know what vMix is all about allowing anybody to create an amazing live production.
Yeah, and so that is going to be a great solution for a lot of folks that are struggling with Teams or Zoom or Skype or capturing something like that that maybe doesn't do well as a web browser input, or is just some audio that is part of one of the programs that they're running, that they're doing a demo of, and they want to capture the error message sound with it. Very simple, like anything else. We'll be able to screw it up, I'm sure. But it's just, it's called a, what is it called? It's called a, oh, it doesn't tell me what it's called. So if we go into add input, we'll do this real quickly. It's an audio input. It is an application audio. So it's application audio. That's what it is. It's the audio from one of the applications that you have running on your PC. That's pretty neat. That's pretty neat. You know, some of you will never use it. I will use it. I'll use it when I can't find another solution. When there's not a more elegant solution, I'll use something like that. All right, let's go back to our list here of what we wanted to look at. Streaming destinations, we got Telstrator, we got the audio input. Oh, this is neat. This is neat. Let's go back to the screen capture here. And may I direct your attention to the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. And in fact, I'm going to try to zoom in a little bit there. So let's go to layers, position rather. We want to go to the main, and we're going to zoom in like that. And then we're going to zoom in like that. There we go. So you notice that we now have the ability to get all of our audio buses available. And all I did was right-click, boom, and select Show All Bus Buttons. If I click that, I just go back to the standard way it's always been. But if I right-click, now even though it says send this input audio to bus A, I can right-click it, and I get an option to go to C, which is one of the buses that I've enabled on this system, or show all the buttons, and then I can choose C if I want to, A or B or anything else. I can't choose the others because they don't exist. So we'll deselect those. And obviously it requires a pretty deft hand right there, but I can enable that on all of them if I want to or not. And it's just a visual thing. It's just a visual thing. And I'm sure Martin got a lot of flack when he had the A and B, everything was good, and then he added, I think then he added maybe C and D, and then so you had to get to them by right-clicking them, any of them, and then there were a bunch of them, so you get a whole list. Anyway, I think he probably just caved in on that one. Says, I give up. I'll give them what they want. I'll give them what they want. And so that's what everybody got. Let me reset the desktop capture, and we'll get everything the way it should be. There we go. All right, what else do we want to see? What else was interesting to me? We talked about the scroll wheel. So I can go into, well, you want to see this. Just in the bottom right-hand corner here, I'll go into any one of those. No, where is the scroll wheel? So it's in settings. That's where it is. So we'll go up here to settings and audio. And then we've got an option here, disable mouse scroll wheel on audio mixers. So it's an all or nothing kind of thing. So there you go. Look at this, audio confidence 90%. Oh, that's for voice shortcuts. Oh, we've done that. Yeah, that was a disaster. But I think it was a April Fool's joke, but it ended up being a real feature. Okay, let's see. Oh, we also have some new multi-views. So let's go into settings, and we'll go into outputs, and we have MultiView 1, MultiView 2. So I've currently got MultiView 1 set for that, and we'll set MultiView 2, there we go, for that. And then I've got the option here with my full screen to choose MultiView 1 or MultiView 2. And I don't think I have an input that does a multi-view. Maybe I have an output that can be set to one of the multi-views. Yeah. So I can set an output to that if I wanted to. What else we got here? There's some other things about overlays and stingers and the GT anchor. Oh, and flatten layers. That's interesting. let's go back here for just a second. In the past, if you wanted to crop something like this that had layers in it, you would crop the original shot, but the 10 layers on top of this, including the 4 overlay channels, would not crop. But now you can flatten the whole input, and if that input is used in another input, then you can crop that input as a whole. The workaround was to use it as a mix, and I've done that in this one. But let's see if we can demonstrate that. So let's come back here. Yeah, here's a mix right here that I'm using for that very reason. Let's take something like this pre-show right here. So pre-show right there, and we'll look at it and we'll see that it's got a bunch of layers. It's got 1, that one's not active, 2, 3, 4 different layers to it. All right. So if we come up to the General tab and click Flatten Layers, which I've already done, which looks like Ratten Layers, but that's just the way the display is. If I use this in another input, so let's add a color input just for the sake of argument, right there, the color input, and we'll go and we'll add a layer, and that's going to be, what one was that? That was the pre-show, number 5. There it is right there. Now as we go into edit and we want to crop, we can crop this in its entirety. How about, look at that. Look at that. I mean, on one hand, it's not a big deal until it is, until you need to be able to crop it and not have, it all go wonky. So for example, let's see, let's just get rid of that one so it doesn't clutter things up. But if we come back to pre-show right here, and if we come into that one, into the, let's go to the layers, let's go to position, and then we'll go to the main tab. And if we do a crop here, it doesn't crop anything. It actually crops what's behind this, and you wouldn't believe what's behind it. I haven't seen it in years. Let's see, layers. How can we find out? Oh, let's just uncheck this. That's what's behind it. That image, which I haven't used in years, but it's still there because everything was built on top of it. But I can crop this layer right here, but it doesn't crop anything else but that layer. I can crop the main, but of course we can't notice it. I guess you can a little bit. But that's why the flatten layer is important. So we've got flatten layers on this one in the pre-show. So if we use this as an input in something else, it'll be able to be cropped. So that's pretty cool. I like that. That's flatten layers. There is also, we'll show one more and then we'll go into the chat. Let's see, let's double click on the clock, and now we can do time remaining, which was not an option before, and we can create an input on that. Oh, that's right, I can only have one production clock. So yeah, so we can see time remaining right there. We're counting down. We're counting down to say that, yeah, we're almost out of showtime. There's vMix 18 to 28 supports NDI6. It's got updates to SRT and AJA support for the Kona X. Some of you Kona X fans may be interested in that. Oh, I know, it's got, let's go to statistics down here, and it's got a whole new section for encoders. So you can see what your in my case, what my 4 encoders are, 5 encoders, and what they're doing. And yeah, so that now I've got the ability to determine how many are available still to come, and I think I'm out. And there's some help for folks that have replay on a low-powered machine. There's some buffering because of some performance issues with some SSDs. Oh, excuse me. Some of the streaming destinations in the streamer have been taken out because they aren't viable anymore. StreamSpot, Tiki Live, and Twitter. If you happen to get access to one of those, you can still use the RTMP streaming in vMix. Let's see, and then the update that was released 14 hours ago has just got some minor stuff in it. If you're watching this after the fact, if you want to go into the show notes, I put a link to the vMix 28 preview post in the vMix forums so that you can go see everything that I've talked about and go ahead and download the vMix 28 from there. If you want to just download the documentation, there's a link to that too on the forum right there in the vMix 28 preview release post, so that you can just look through, how Telstrator works. And I'm sure they'll update that as they get some feedback on what's understandable and what's not understandable. But vMix 28, a little bit of something for everybody. So yeah, I think that's going to be pretty cool. Let's flip over to the post show and we'll have a go at your questions. So we'll be right back. Okay. Howdy, y'all from Texas. And Gunner's there. He is not a heathen. He was singing in the choir a few minutes ago, so that's good. Bill asks about the Telstrator. Does it have arrows? Oh, good idea, Bill. Feature request. Bingo. I think there's room on the list. Let's see. Where is the Telstrator? Yeah, there's plenty of room for all sorts of. Let me flip over to it so everybody else can see. There's plenty of room down here for other buttons, like an arrow. That would be great. Or maybe to right-click this and select an arrow. That's just a browse. Those are right-click browser options right there. So no, we don't want that. This is frozen. Why is this frozen? Probably because I changed something. Let's refresh it and see what happens. No. Oh, did we change output 2? Let's go back in and check. Output 2 is input 1. Huh. There we go. It just needed a little pressure. So it timed out or something was amiss. We'll have to go back and play around with that some more and see if we can find out why that was such. But yeah, plenty of room for more buttons. Good idea. I like the fact that people are thinking. Yeah, numbers would be good for you. So if we're going to go here first, and then we're going to go here second, not third. Thank you, Jan. Good to see you. It's been a very happy birthday. 69. I remember when I was 29, I was just like, oh my gosh, life is over. I'm going to be 30 next year. Now that I'm 69, I'm like, oh my gosh, life is over. I'm going to be 70 next year. But 70 has never seemed so young. What do you say? Holy cow. But thank you. Are there shortcuts for controlling the Telstrator? Tell me what you mean. There are shortcuts. The Telstrator has the availability to, let me show you how I enabled that. Let me flip back over to this for just a second. So we're going to go into shortcuts. We'll scroll down to one of the ones that I did, this one right here. And this is the button number. It was a cut. It's just a preview. But I also said down here at the bottom, show in Telstrator. And I had to give it a title name here. It would not let me save this without a title name. That confused me at first because it was just talking about this title and not a vMix overlay title. So we're going to show it in the Telstrator, and that is, let's see, where's the, let's go here, 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 and that is this button right here, the cut button. In fact, we'll use it right now. Boom, there we go. So there, I don't know that there are shortcuts to control the Telstrator, like, you know, the erase or undo functions or those kinds of things. But that's a good question. Good question. Let's see, let's find our post show here. There we go. All right. Everybody chatting around the background. Michael Lang asks, how can you change the vMix background like your wood theme? Oh yeah, this is actually mahogany. It's not just any wood. It was part of their April's Fool joke this year. So we'll go into settings, and you see right here in settings, the theme is rich mahogany. And I've got 4 themes. I've got blue, charcoal 7, charcoal 8, and rich mahogany. I'm not going to change it now because I don't want to have to reset vMix because it doesn't reset very quickly. But yeah, that's how I did that. Yeah, so let's go back here. Have you tested adding graphic yet? No. Well, yeah, we did just a minute ago. Let me show you. Go back to the Telstrator, and we went into the image, and it looks like, you know, all the numbers are images, but they also have 2 preloaded images, which are sort of highlights. So I'm going to just check that one, and there you go. If I knew how to use it. Let's try here. Nope. Why am I getting it twice? Oh, because there's an inner ring and an outer ring. Inner, outer, no. Try one more time. So I'm going to go right in the top of my head and just draw down. And it does 2 of them for some reason. Oh, maybe it's back to the, whatever that thing was. Yep. So we'll do that, take away that one, and there we go. So there's an added graphic. And then I think there's a file that you can add graphics to. Let's go back here for just a second. This is my Telstrator input. Open images folder right there. And so I'm going to drag that here where you can see it better. This folder is empty, and it's under Documents, vMix Storage, Telstrator. So let's find a picture. We don't have any pictures. Let's just go to Dropbox and grab some photos. There's one. And let's copy that, and we'll go back where we were, and we'll paste it. Christmas jacket. So now let's see if that's available. Now let's refresh this guy. Well, I didn't do something right. Refresh it again. Nope, it's not there. Let's go back to Telstrator, open images folder. There it is. It may be too big. Let's see what the properties of it are. It's not that big. It's only 140 KB. Details, it's could be too tall. Let's find something smaller. Photo starts with a P. Here's a good photo. Copy that. That's Martin Steed. So let's try to refresh again, go into the folder. I'm missing something. I'm missing something. So we'll see. We'll work on that. We will work on that. There we go. Gotcha. That makes sense. Can you cover shortcut for Telstrator? Yeah, I think we just did that. How about Flatten Layers? We did that too. Just pulled up outside. Well, come on in. Holy cow. Sorry about that. John missed it, was waiting for the show. Well, you can go back and watch it again. Jeff Mack just joined, and see, I'll need to go back from the beginning. Exactly. Yes. Ken says, Tom, I've been looking for something like that with the desktop capture audio. I was thinking about you, Ken, when I saw that. John W.J. Irvine, hello from Canada. Thought I should stop by since been using vMix since 2012, version 8. Oh my gosh. Version 8. Paul, we have to talk. When was that? 2012, version 8? Great day. Cool. Currently HD version 26. Well, you got to get version 28. You're going to have to update to do that. It'll cost you $60. Probably a little bit more than that in Canada. All right, let's see. GI says, where does one select shortcuts to be displayed on the Telstrator website? There we go. I think we covered that, but real quickly, we'll go back to it one more time because I now remember where it is. So we'll go to settings. We'll go to our shortcuts. We'll go down to a shortcut, and here's one I've already done. And down at the very bottom here, I will say show in Telstrator, and I have to give it a title, or I can't even get past that screen if I don't give it a title. Yep. You will have to rewatch. Yes, you will. All right, Ken Robinson says, I use a Stream Deck XL 32 keys, but I have more than 32 inputs. How could I use my Stream Deck in this situation? I don't know. What do you want to do? I mean, you're not going to need a key for every input because some inputs will be audio, some inputs will be, titles and things like that that you'll use in other inputs. So I'm not sure, Ken, but thanks for asking. Somebody else has an idea for Ken. Speak up. Well, there you go. Didn't take long. GI says pages and folders. There you go. Are the shortcuts to change color drawing tool, from the Stream Deck, so the Telstrator can be full screen? Well, that's a good idea. Let's see. Let's go to shortcuts and see if we have a Telstrator shortcut. So I'm going to add, and I'm just going to go to function, and I'm just going to type in yeah, there is no Telstrator shortcut, at least not yet. Good idea. Really good idea. Really good idea. I was wondering the same thing when I got in full screen. I'm like, oh, I've got to get out of full screen in order to change something, then back in. But I like that. Jan said, you'll be a younger 70. I'm sure Sandy keeps you on your toes. You are not lying. You are not lying. Ron, come on in. There he is.
I ain't want to just open the door yet because I was watching you. And I was like, I don't want to come over here and do that. I was like, cause he live.
Come on in. Here's a mic.
Oh Lord, have mercy, Tom.
Clip the mic on.
This the Rode mic,
Yeah.
the new one.
Oh no, this is the
Oh, that's Hollyland.
Hollyland mic.
Rode got one too.
Come down into the
Lord
camera and
have
say hello
mercy.
to everybody.
Oh,
yeah,
my
have a seat.
goodness.
Have a seat. Have a seat. Have a seat. Have a seat. There's where we're looking right here.
I got you. I got you.
Put your head in. Put your head in
Oh,
so everybody
oh,
can say
oh,
how to run.
this
There you
way.
go. There you go.
Wait a
There you
minute.
go. Yeah, you're good.
The PTZ.
Yes. Yes. Sorry.
Oh wow. So
How
this
are
is the
you?
shop. This is the shop. Tom,
This-
it don't be looking like this on the screen. Let me cut this off.
What does it look like?
It don't look like you in here like this. I can tell you had the light off. I saw that, but yeah.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
Man, those some big old monitors. You
Yeah.
got.
Yeah. Yeah. They're the right tool for the job.
All right. vMix social up.
Right
All
tool
right.
for the job.
You good.
Yep. Yep.
But see,
a
you
lot
on-
of times I'll have that big screen pulled around behind the PTZ
Okay.
so that I can look at myself.
But it
and
looks
look at
like
it
you're
doing-
looking at the camera.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's
Exactly.
why I try to tell
Yeah.
people. You can tell people the camera there, and they like
No.
they try and look at the screen.
Yep. Everybody does it on their phone too. They're looking at the
I
screen.
got lights
when-
like this, but
Do you?
they bigger. They're not long that way.
Okay.
They big.
All right.
All
Good.
right.
Good.
What's going on?
Well, we're just chatting with everybody. I mean, you've seen it.
Yeah.
I
How
tell you
did
what.
you put that background in
What background?
on your vMix?
Oh,
the wood grain.
The wood? Yeah, I was just showing that. In here in settings,
I like that.
under display, it's called Rich Mahogany.
Oh, I like that look.
And it was actually a April Fool's Day joke
I mean, it looked nice.
that Martin put in.
Yeah, because when you showed your screen, I was like, wait a minute, Tom's vMix looked different. I saw the background. I was like, he changed the background on. All right.
It's
Now,
just fun.
so it changed the inputs and everything?
Yeah, it gave everything kind of a. I mean,
Wow.
right here is just brown.
I got you. But you see, look at your inputs, how you got the orange, green, and the brown. Like where you got the meters going to the right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So-
And you notice the little buttons here look like they're leather.
Yeah.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's pretty neat, man.
Yep.
So now they coming out with 28 that fast?
Well, it's a beta
But 27, they just fully released 27, didn't they?
in January.
I'm behind, man. I'm behind. I just been using it. Now my church is up on 27,
Okay.
but of course, I got my vMix from you from a long, long time ago.
Long time.
So, but it's all good, man.
So tell everybody about your about the sports shows that you do preseason.
They on here now?
Yeah.
Oh, Tom, I didn't know we was live still.
No. This is good.
But no, again, I'm Ron Wallace, Ballin' Down South Sports Network. Of course, I got into vMix dealing with Tom. Found out that he was in Fairhope, right down the street from me. I'm in Daphne.
Right down the street.
Right down the street. Of course, I started out with tablets, iPhones, you name it, but that has its limits. You can kind of still use them today.
Sure.
But didn't want to be a broadcasting company, just wanted to send out tweets and social media posts for these high school kids, these athletes, to try to help them, garnish college attention from
Yeah.
whatever sport they were playing in.
Yep.
But I guess the man upstairs had other plans for me, so now, we're a
As
full-fledged
usual.
broadcast company where, we do all type of sports. We're doing talk shows. I do my own talk show. It's coming back, and as soon as I finish my studio and Tom give me some stuff out of his studio that he's not using, I can get my studio up and running over there in Daphne. And of course, we'll start the Ron Wallace Show again. That way I can talk about any and everything, not just dealing with sports.
Right.
Of course, we have Ballin' Down South Sports Network, but we're now going to have a big conglomerate called Ballin' Down South Media, where any of the Ballin' Down South sports and everything will fall underneath that conglomerate. Like how ESPN does or Disney does, has ESPN and all sorts of things. Because you want to be able to, I want to start, producing people's podcasts, talk shows, what have you, and they may not be about sports. Okay, Ballin' Down South Media, we have an entity for that, and we can, broadcast or produce your show for you. But other than that, man, we started, just to help out these high school kids, to help them get in college, get a scholarship, athletic scholarship. And since then, it's grown. I've been, I think, using vMix and broadcasting for over 4 or 5 years now. I'll never go to anything else. I can tell you that. I produced several college events, sports and events with the Bridge Builder Classic at the Mitchell Center for the SWAC conference. But now they got a contract with ESPN, so I can't broadcast the college games.
They bumped you out.
Well, yes and no. It's just stuff you got to work around that deals with contract. The commissioner told me, because he called me personally, the SWAC commissioner did, and I understood about business. Definitely don't want them to get in any trouble with ESPN.
Sure.
But other than that, I mean, doing other things like producing shows and stuff like that for other people, I enjoy doing that. Just technology in general. So I know all about computers, networking, and stuff like that. I may not know everything Tom know everybody, but hey, I can probably download his brain or something like that. We all can with all the stuff he does here on the Stream Media Show. But yeah, I was in the area. I'm always here in the area. And I didn't know this was where Tom's studio was. I done been by here like 50 million times and didn't even realize it. He need to go ahead and get a sign out front. Not on the door, but on that billboard out there. But
I don't want people showing up here. I want to be under the scene, behind the scenes.
And you guys probably like, man, how is he dressed? My ultimate job, I work for a fiber optic cable company, where we put fiber into businesses right now, no residential. But I'm at work right now, just passing through here. I've been all the way out to Gulf Shores today, and I'm just working my way back this way up to the county, northern part of the county.
Why don't you hook me up while you're here?
Oh, no. Well, I got a handhold right over there, but it's going to take more than that. You got to do bore shots in the ground. You got to get an 811 ticket from the state.
AT&T told me a while back it was going to cost $25,000 to put fiber into my studio.
Oh, no, it wouldn't cost that for us.
Because they had to get permits and dig and cross the road. And
well, we right there. All you got to do is go across the grass right here, the parking lot right here at the gas station. But no, but I mean, if you want unity, I'm very sure I can have somebody call you and they can get you some unity.
I think AT&T wanted to charge me $1,200 a month.
Wow.
Too. I was like, I think I'm going to stay with whatever it is. I guess it's DSL.
No, you need something faster, Tom. You got all this equipment in this studio?
It's 100 down, 20 up.
Okay.
That's,
Okay.
That's enough. It's barely enough.
Yeah. They should have fiber through here now.
Across the street.
Oh, it's across the street. Across the street. But other than that, man, I mean, being in broadcasting and doing the things that I do, and some of the things that Tom do, with vMix and stuff, the stuff that he's showing you guys today, I think that's often what those guys are doing, what they put together. And Tom, I could have sworn I saw you on a vMix show with the guys. I think they showed something where you were at the last thing you just went to.
NAB?
NAB. I think they showed a glimpse of you. I said, they look like Tom over there. But anyway, I saw your hair and I said, that's Tom.
That's Tom.
But no, broadcasting is good, man. vMix, I love it. Wouldn't change it for the world. Try to get many people that's using tablets and using Switcher Studio. I know some of you guys know about that. I used that too, but I would never go back to that. Once I got onto vMix, I never looked back. So,
well, it's like your first bicycle,
Yeah.
It was a 20-inch bike, and then you graduate.
Yeah, you graduate. But I mean, vMix is like endless. I mean, if they don't have it, you tell them enough, eventually it'll be in one of the updates. I guarantee you. Like all the bells and whistles and stuff. And I'm interested in using the Telstrator. I saw that. I was trying to. I didn't want to call you. I said he probably got the wrong input on. And you was right. You was showing on 2 inputs, so that's why I duplicated the drawing. But I kind of figured that's what it was. But I'm interested in using that. But you say that's only in the beta. That's not in 27.
Right.
Not in 27. Okay.
But you can.
Well, I got
anytime you want.
Well, I got 2 machines at home. I can use the other one as a test machine. But you want to play around with it. But no. But nice talking to you guys, but I'll come in here to pick up something from Tom, and then I'm gonna be on my way. But I'm gonna let him finish his post show. Tom.
All right. Well, let's finish post show, and let's see what we got here. So Bill says, a shortcut to display the Telstrator to overlay 4 toggles on and off, possible on the web interface. Could be. Could be. Could be. Fritz is here. Hello, Fritz. Glad you're here. Glad you made it. Yep. Michael says the Bitstream, is it Bitstream? Bitstream Companion. Yeah. Yep. We'll give you 99 pages. Holy cow. Yeah, you just set it down. It'll turn itself off eventually. Central control. You can double the 32 keys. Yeah, central control is great. That's what Fritz says. And they're agreeing. And Paul says, yes, let's talk. May have to consider the update for $60, but need a piece of hardware update first. Wonder if audio suggestions might include voice meter for the next level, maybe sound pad. Yeah, you can suggest that. It's interesting the way vMix has that. Hey, Aiden, glad to have you here. vMix doesn't really want to recreate what's already out there somewhere else and doing well. They've resisted, for example, pulling in a restream kind of feature like Wirecast did, because they said, restream's out there. It's a great product. That's not what we do. And they'll tell you that they are not, they're not necessarily audio people either. So they might tend to stay away from audio. All right. Jan and the missus are planning a trip down under. Oh, you're going to go see Maggie and Tim and Martin. Yeah, there's a lot of folks down there to check out. That's good. That's good. Well, look, I appreciate you guys tuning in today. I'm going to go chat with Ron here, and we will see you back next week. Probably dig under the hood of 28 some more, maybe have some more polished demos of something like that. We'll just have to wait and see. But thanks for Ron for stopping in, and we're going to go to the post show, and we'll see you next time.